All right, if you'd like to use your playlist, you can begin the playlist now. And then come to your back in the middle of your mat. Legs extended out in front of you. Unless your back feels a little bit sore or stiff, then you might consider bending your knees, making your feet a little bit wider, and then knocking your knees toward each other so they're simply supported. Start to lower your eyelids, maybe all the way, perhaps part way if you prefer to have some visual stimulation as you start to fully arrive in this practice. First, taking note of your physical body. Various sensations such as temperature, texture, movement. Noticing what is the border of your physical body. What's on the outside, what's on the inside. Can you feel those edges? Then send your attention to something a little bit in between, which is your breath. Acknowledging the quality, let yourself be a witness to that breath. Then take note of the quality of your thoughts. You can allow yourself just to recognize what that's like. It's not good and it's not bad. As some of you know, you've spoken with me, perhaps this is more in the realm of sukha, moving toward your joy, your completion, your completeness, or maybe moving away. And give yourself the opportunity and the space for growth and for openness. I invite you to set a dedication for this practice. If this is something that you have been working with lately, then please shift your thoughts to that. And if you are still seeking some kind of inspiration, I invite you to set your dedication to creating space for openness. If that simply doesn't resonate with you, then perhaps focus on your breath. The most central part of this practice. And together we'll take some breaths together, solidifying dedications as a community. So take a very deep breath in. Let your belly expand and rib cage. Imagine the breath could go down through your hips to your legs. Hold at the top for just a moment. And on an exhale, release it, let it go. Feel everything become softer and come a little bit more inward toward your midline. Hold at the very bottom of that breath. And then again, a very deep, full, relaxed, full breath in. Find that softness to provide you with space. And then exhale, let it go. And then one final time for yourself. Place one hand on heart, one hand on belly if you've not already taken that posture. And breathe in all the way down to your belly. Feel your low belly rise, mid belly, chest. And then exhale, reverse. Feel your chest drop, midsection, lower belly. Again, breathe in to the lowest part of your belly, mid, upper, and then exhale to release. Once more like that on your own. And then take your arms up above your head. Your pinkies are pointing up toward the ceiling. Your palms are facing toward each other. Realign your legs. Make them a little bit closer toward each other. If your knees are bent, extend them. Point through your toes. Reach out through your fingertips above your head. But still press your shoulder blades down to the mat. So you've got these opposing motions. And then bring your arms alongside your body, palms down, bend your knees, place your feet into the mat. We're gonna take a moving bridge flow. So we're gonna move gently. So you don't need to find a full extension of your bridge. On an inhale, lift up your hips and your arms, backs of palms behind you, press down to the tops of your shoulders. Exhale, roll it all the way down, hips and hands drop. Inhale, lift up hips, lift up arms. If you like, maybe lift up your heels. On an exhale, roll your spine down, your hands, your hips, your heels drop. Twice more like this. Deep breath in. Creating space. Exhale, using the space you've created. Once more. And then roll it all the way back down. Pull your knees gently to your chest, hands to your knees. Move your knees in circles in one direction several times. And then the other several times. Take your hands to the backs of your thighs and rock up and down the length of your spine. You'll end up in a seated pose, so if rocking up and down doesn't feel great, then roll over to one side and then make your way to Sukhasana. So you're going to come to your Sukhasana pose. You can take your dominant or non-dominant knee, foot in front rather. Hands to your knees, seated cow and cat. Inhale, lean forward. Look up, shoulder blades on your back. Exhale, roll your spine, look down towards your feet or your belly. Inhale, carry it forward. Exhale, rock it back. Twice more like that. Inhale forward, elbows pointed back. Exhale as they start to strengthen, lengthen. One more time. Okay, wonderful. And then we're going to accentuate that. Reach your arms out and up. Exhale, fists by your hips, modified boat pose. Forward again. Inhale, take it forward. Exhale, lean back. Feel your belly engage as you lean back and lift up your ankles. It doesn't matter how high. And then on this next time, you're going to stay in that modified boat pose. Take your feet together, knees wide. Interlace your fingertips and release your index. Drop feet. On an inhale, you're going to lean forward and slouch over. Let your head drop. On your exhale, lift up and back. Lean back, pointing out in front of you. Perhaps lift up to point at your toes. Again, inhale, take it forward. Let your knees get soft. Exhale, lift up and back. Lean back, point up towards your toes. Twice more. Once more. Deep breath, come forward. Exhale, helps you use your core strength. Lift up your feet. Drop your feet to the mat. Take your hands to the backs of your knees. And then slowly you're going to roll your back all the way down onto the mat. And we're going to take a Supta Baddha Konasana. So start to walk the soles of your feet toward each other. Let your knees drop out to the side. You might find that you need to press your hands and your shoulders into the mat to lift up your hips and then slide underneath. We'll be here for just 5 breaths. Is it possible to let go of some of the tension, perhaps in your inner thighs? All right, and then take your hands to the backs of your thighs. Start to walk your knees back toward each other, placing the soles of your feet into the mat. Once again, take your hands to the backs of your thighs. Rock up and down the length of your spine a couple times. Come back to that seated posture. This time, come with the opposite foot in front in your Sukhasana pose. I'm going to take a couple seated twists. Inhale, reach arms out and up. Look up towards your fingertips. Exhale, twist to the left. Right hand to left knee, left fingertips behind you. We'll stay here for 2 more breaths. Inhale, lift up. Draw your floating ribs in. Your exhale as you twist more deeply. Second breath like this. Next, inhale, take your head back to center. Reach arms out and up. Exhale, twist to the opposite side. Find that resistance with your fingertips. Again, we'll be here for 2 full breaths. Share the weight with the left side of your body. At the end of that second exhale, inhale, come back to center. Arms lift up. And on an exhale, bring your palms to your heart center, pressing your hands together. Bow your chin to your chest. Once again, send your thoughts to your dedication. Lift your chin up and then roll over onto your hands and your knees. We're first going to take a couple cow and cat. So spread fingertips wide, knees over hips. Inhale, drop belly, reach your heart forward, hips up, gaze up. Exhale, press your hands and knees. Look back toward your belly. Maybe you don't look all the way to belly, maybe it's knees. Inhale, sweep your heart forward. Inner elbows face forward. Exhale, press up. One more time. Inhale, find space through the front of your body. Exhale, find space through the back. And then come back down to a neutral position. We're going to take Anahatasana, which is melting heart pose or puppy dog pose. Walk your hands out towards the corners of your mat. Wrap your inner elbows upward, keeping your hips over your knees, and start to drop your chest down. Make sure that you're still clawing at the mat with your widespread fingertips. And start to drop down. You might come to a place where your chest comes down, your chin comes down. Be very, very strong in your arms. And then on an exhale, engage your core, press through your hands, lift your way back up, walk your hands back in towards you. We're going to thread the needle, share the weight to the left arm, inhale, right fingertips come up. On an exhale, thread your right arm underneath, come onto the right shoulder, right cheek onto the mat. You can stay just right here, or walk your left hand directly out in front of you, or even wander it over toward the right corner of your yoga mat. 3 breaths. At the end of that third exhale, walk your left hand back if you took that variation. Press the left hand. Inhale, right fingertips come back up toward the ceiling. Exhale, right hand comes down. Shift the weight to the right side. Left fingertips come up, maybe look up. Exhale, thread left arm underneath you so you're on your left shoulder. The back of your hand is on the mat. Left cheek on the mat. And if you'd like to take it further, option to walk your right hand outward or even over to the left corner. You might come up onto finger pads. You might have your palm flat. 3 breaths. At the end of that third exhale, take the hand back to where it was below your shoulder if you took that movement. Press the right hand, left fingertips, unfurl toward the ceiling again. Exhale, take it back down so you're in tabletop pose. Okay, starting to warm up and continuing in that direction. Right arm out, thumb up, low belly in, extend left leg out behind you. Inhale here, find even more length. Exhale, draw your elbow to your knee, arch your back like cat. Inhale, extend. Exhale, pull in. Inhale, extend. This time, bend your left knee to lift up your foot toward the ceiling. Cycle your right arm up and back. Options. You work on your active range of motion and just reach them for each other, or you actually make the connection and take a passive stretch, pressing foot to hand, hand to foot. Keep pressing through left palm. And then when you're ready, release the foot, or just take right hand down, left knee down. Find a little bit of movement, side to side, front and back. And then come back to neutral. Left arm out, thumb up. Find the balance as you like, extend right leg out. If this balance is too much, you can always just tap your foot down, you're still in the posture. So, low belly in. Inhale, stretch away, exhale, elbow toward knee, arch your spine. Inhale, reach out. Exhale to pull in towards your midline. Inhale, pull out, bend right knee so toes are facing up toward the ceiling. Cycle left arm up and around. Again, you can have an active range of motion where you don't have the class, or all over like me, take the class. Press foot to hand, hand to foot. All right, wherever you are, either release the class, or if you don't have the class, left hand down, right knee is down, find some movement here, shift it out. Then take your hands about a 1 palm's distance further away from you, tuck your toes, send your hips back toward your heels, press up and back, downward facing dog. So in this down dog, inhale, rise to your toes, send your heels over to the right, send your chest toward your left thigh. Inhale, come back to center, pivot in the opposite direction, shifting your chest toward your right thigh. Then come back to center again. Bend both knees fairly generously if your legs are straight, and you're going to take the space between your first and second toe of your left foot, behind the Achilles of your right foot and let the weight of your left foot draw down your right leg. Keep your right hip gently pulling back. Release that foot, place it next to the other, so you're back to the downward facing dog. Bend both knees really generously again. Space between first and second toe of your right foot behind your left Achilles. Let your leg draw the left heel down toward the mat. Left hip is just gently, generally pulling back. Replace the foot next to the other, back to downward facing dog. Bend your knees, look towards the top of your mat, and then travel to the top, forward fold, and then ragdoll. Bending knees. You can take elbows and hands. Get soft, get loose. And then release your fingertips down toward the mat. We're going to take a forward fold twist here. So you might need to bend your knees really generously. Place your left hand on the mat directly below your face, either on the mat or onto a block. Right hand to right hip, point your right elbow up toward the ceiling. Press through your left hand so much that you start to twist toward the right, right shoulder stacking on top of left. Option to look up toward the ceiling, over your right shoulder. Also, final option, unfurl your right arm. Maybe your right leg becomes straighter. Press through your left hand, reach up through your right fingertips, grow long on your inhales through your spine. Your exhales, you twist. Next exhale, drop your right hand down toward the mat, gaze comes down, bend both knees. Opposite side, so right hand directly below your face onto the mat. Knees are still bent. Left elbow to left hip, point your elbow up toward the ceiling. Start to press through your right hand so that your left shoulder starts to stack. Your left leg might become straighter. Elbow still pointing upward, look towards your, beyond your left shoulder. And then if you want, unravel left fingertips up toward the ceiling. Again, inhales grow you long, exhales deepen your twist, pressing through right hand. When you're ready on an exhale, unfurl, take it all back down. 3 times, we'll take a halfway lift. On an inhale, press through your feet, trace your fingertips to your shins or your mat, reach your heart forward, low belly is strong. Exhale, chest to thighs, make this super, super strong, not ragdoll. Inhale, halfway lift. Press your feet down and away from each other. Exhale, reach your chins to your shins. Final 10 like that. Inhale, halfway lift, shoulder blades roll onto your back. Exhale, fold. And we're gonna take a reverse breath here. Bend your knees, inhale, and then on an exhale, start to roll your way up to standing, keeping a slight bend in your knees until shoulders stack over hips. And then take your first Tadasana pose. Shift your weight a little bit front and back. Split the difference, find that place in between. And then a little bit from side to side or to left, left to right. Once again, find that balance, that point right in the middle. And then we'll flow through a sun salutation A. Inhale, arms lift, gazes up. Exhale, hinge at your hips, forward fold, hands drop. Inhale, halfway lift and lengthen, look forward. Exhale, fold, step your right foot all the way to the back of your mat. Step your left foot back to meet it. On an exhale, elbows grazing your rib cage, lower all the way down to your mat. Untuck toes, roll your shoulders back, press your tops of feet, inhale, cobra pose. Exhale, take it all the way back down. Press up and back to downward facing dog through hands and knees or through chaturanga. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, exhale. Inhale, bend your knees, look towards the top of mat. On an exhale, step your right foot forward, then your left. Breath in, halfway lift, Ardha Uttanasana, exhale, fold. Press feet into mat, inhale, arms reach out and up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Arms alongside your body, Tadasana. Inhale to center. Exhale, release. Once again, inhale, arms lift, gaze up. Exhale, forward fold. Breath in, halfway lift, offer your heart. Exhale, fold. Step your left foot all the way to the back of your mat. Step your right foot back to meet it. On an exhale, lower to or toward your mat. Elbows in towards your rib cage. Untuck your toes. Inhale, pointing your elbows back, your back bend. Exhale, take it all the way back down. Make it back to downward facing dog. Inhale. Exhale. Second time. On your third, bend your knees, look towards top of the mat. On an exhale, step your left foot all the way forward, then your right. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Press through your feet to reach your arms out and up. On an exhale, hands to your heart center. Arms alongside your body. 3 breaths in Tadasana. When you're ready, inhale, arms lift, gaze up. Exhale, forward fold all the way. Inhale, halfway lift. And then on an exhale, make your way back to down dog. If you'd like to take a vinyasa, please do, or simply step back and find that downward facing dog posture. From your downward facing dog, on an inhale, lift your right leg toward the ceiling for a tripod, then bend your knee, open up through your hips, keeping your right shoulder in the same plane that it was. Drop your heel toward your bum. Keep reaching your left hip back. Awesome. Re-straighten the right leg for the tripod dog. On an exhale, pull your knee to your nose, then place your foot between your hands toward your right thumb. Drop your left knee down toward the mat. When you're ready, Anjaneyasana, arms lift. Scissor your thighs together, perhaps dip your hips down. 3 breaths. On your next exhale, place your hands on either side of your front foot. Shift your hips back, Ardha Hanumanasana, half splits. So if your leg goes totally straight and your hip goes like way far back, wiggle your right foot forward. Flex your feet towards your face. Inhale, lengthen out. Feel your right hip pull back. Maybe you can use your thumb to your hip crease to accentuate that. Exhale, you're going to start to lean forward. So bent knee is fine. In fact, even if you know that your leg goes straight, maybe try with a bent knee and see how things feel differently. You'll have a slightly different sensation here. Inhale, lift up halfway again. Place your left hand into the mat. You might need to lean out a little bit. Keeping your right toes flexed. Again, bent knee might even just happen. Peel your right fingertips up toward the ceiling. And then make though you're dragging your right heel along the mat. All right, exhale, take your right hand back down. Rebend into the right knee. Tuck your back toes to lift up the back knee. And then, just for fun, we're going to, in one fell swoop, attempt to go back to a tripod dog. So pull your right heel up toward your bum, extend your right leg up toward the ceiling, and then place your foot next to the other, downward facing dog. All right, let's try the other side. Inhale, left leg up and back, tripod dog. Keep your left shoulder where it is. Bend your left knee, open up through your hips. Keep pulling right hip back as your heel comes closer to your bum. Re-straighten that left leg so you're back to that tripod dog. On an exhale, pull your knee to your nose, place your foot between your hands toward left thumb, maybe with keeping your palm down. Drop right knee, toes tucked or untucked when you're ready. Arms lift for your Anjaneyasana, opposite side. All right, maybe you're starting to bring your hands beyond you so your biceps are behind your ears. 3 breaths. And your third exhale. Wind your hands all the way back down to frame the front foot, shift your hips back. Left leg becomes straighter for Ardha Hanumanasana, half splits. Adjust as you need, flex toes towards your face. Inhale, lengthen out. Left hip, notches back. Exhale, hinge forward. Again, maybe try with a bent knee, simply to notice this sensation. Sometimes going farther is not what it appears. So maybe having a bent knee is where you're at right now. Perhaps this is more of your edge. All right, inhale to lift up halfway again. We're going to take that side twist. So right hand onto the mat. You might need finger pads here. You can come all the way to your palm. Left fingertips lift up. Again, like the other side, you're going to be dragging your heel. It's like you can crinkle your yoga mat between left heel and right knee. Flex your toes. Next exhale, left hand comes right back down. Rebend into your left knee, tuck back toes, lift up back knee, you're in a low lunge. Again, for fun. We're gonna move all the way. One fell swoop, if possible. Pull your left heel towards your bum, extend all the way up to the tripod dog. Exhale, place your foot next to the other. Beautiful. Inhale, bend knees, look towards the top of your mat. And on an exhale, you're going to step or hop all the way to the top. Cool. Inhale, half lift. Exhale, fold. We're gonna have some fun. Peace fingers of your right hand and your thumb are going to wrap around your big toe of your right foot. Take your left hand to your left hip, bend both knees. You're going to come to standing, keeping the grip of your foot as best you can so your knee comes up. Yes. Yeah. If you fall out, just come right back in. And it might mean that your left knee stays a little bit bent, and that's actually really fine. You're gonna have a lot of muscle engagement. Next, stop. Start to extend your right leg out. Your right leg might still be bent. You might find full extension. And then, whether your leg is straight or not, start to open your right leg out to the side. Send your gaze beyond your left shoulder. Yeah. Yes. All right, and keeping that grip, bring your right knee or foot towards the front. Keeping that grip still, bend both knees, stand all the way down, then release your toes, ragdoll pose. Beautiful work. Take your hands down to the mat if you took a class. Step your left foot toward the back of your mat. Angle your foot like warrior two. So find your alignment in your legs first. Check out, do heel to heel alignment. Press to the outer edge of your left foot. Your toes are facing forward. And then when you're ready, have your fingertips away from your mat and then come to your warrior two. So you lift your torso up. See if you can square your shoulders to the long side of your mat. Fingertips extend away. Look beyond your right middle finger. Sit low. Flip your right palm up, left hand drops. Exalted warrior, arc up and back. Straighten the front leg, exalted triangle. And then send your hips behind you, lean forward, reach forward with your right fingertips. We move to a triangle pose. You can have your left hand still behind your low back or thigh, or you can take a more traditional approach with your left hand up toward the ceiling. Regardless of the option you're taking, but especially if you've taken a hand behind the back, make sure you're pulling in your ribs and that you're rotating upward, right rib cage reaching up, and not just like the center of your belly. On an exhale, return back to warrior two. Flip right palm up, left hand drops, exalted warrior. Straighten the front foot, a front leg rather. And then Trikonasana again. Hips reach back, arms reach, right arm reach forward. Option for left hand behind your low back or to lift up towards ceiling. Inhales lengthen, exhales twist. Don't forget about your left foot. It is supporting you just as much as your right. All right, and then return back to the warrior two. 3 breaths. At the end of that third exhale, cartwheel toward the top of your mat, you're in a low lunge. Step your left foot forward, forward fold, ragdoll pose. Can you remember the way that you normally interlace your arms? Try it a different way. And then release your fingertips down toward the mat again. We're gonna take the other hand to toe pose. Peace fingers over your left hand, thumb around your big left toe. Right hand to your right hip, bend both knees, set yourself up. Shift the weight to your right leg. Start to take the weight away from your left. Let your arm assist as you come up to standing. Again, come out of the pose, come back in. I remember you guys, like I fell out of a tabletop pose earlier, so keep that in mind. All right, see if you want to go further. If you'd like, extend the left leg out in front of you. Maybe your knee is bent. Perhaps it comes straight. Keep your left hip dropped. Take it further still if you want. Left leg out to the side. And then send your gaze out towards your right shoulder. All right, and let's rewind. If you took the leg up, bring your leg out to front. Again, keep the bind as best you can. Bending both knees, step your left foot next to the right, then release your foot, you're in a forward fold. Awesome. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Step your right foot all the way to the back of the mat, low lunge. And we're gonna set up lower body, warrior two. Angle the right foot out. Your left toes are pointing straight ahead. Just take note of where you are. How does this feel different? How does it feel exactly the same? And then hover your fingertips away from the mat. Press through feet on an exhale to unravel. Land on top of your warrior two. Take any movements that you need. Squaring shoulders toward the long side of your mat, so you actually do get a bit of a twist here, because your pelvis is going to be slightly at an angle. Look out beyond your left middle finger. Left palm flips up, right hand drops, exalted warrior. Maintain the deep bend. Then straighten the front leg, exalted triangle. Send your hips to the right, which forces your torso to lean forward, reach out with your left fingertips. Left hand comes down to thigh, shin, block, or ground. And you come to triangle pose. Perhaps it is bound with your hand behind your back, or maybe up toward the ceiling in traditional. Totally up to you. Remember, find
Hey, Courtney, I think you got muted.
Did somebody mute me? Where did we miss? Where did we leave off?
She's back. I lost you at the beginning of that warrior one sequence, the warrior two sequence on the
left side.
Yeah, but I finished it, so.
Amazing. All right, let's just do it one more time for good measure then, okay?
Sure.
Our whole left sides are like neglected most of the time. So thank you guys so much. I was like, I'm gonna see what that ding dong sound is about. All right, come back into your warrior two. Get yourself in. Thank you guys. Flip left palm, drop right to thigh or behind your back. Left arm lifts up. And then straighten the left leg for your exalted triangle. Use all that space. Right hip reaches back, left arm comes forward, tilt down. Angle your left rib cage up toward the ceiling. Again, lengthen so that you can twist, press through both feet. Don't forget the right foot. And then you're ready. On an exhale, rebend to the front knee, come back to warrior two, 30 breaths. On your next exhale, cartwheel toward the front of the mat so that you are in a low lunge. Step your left foot back to meet your right this time, so you're in a high plank. Option for a vinyasa. I'll see you in downward facing dog. Take your knees to your mat, toes to touch, hips to heels. Child's pose, unless this does not feel restful, in which case perhaps sit on your knees or another posture. Settle your breath. Recognize the flow of your thoughts. Just be aware of them. We'll have 3 more breaths here, and then we're going to meet back in downward facing dog. You can do whatever you'd like during this time. First of 3 breaths begins now. At the end of that third exhale, start to make your journey back to downward facing dog. It might take a couple stops in between. Perhaps you're just ready to go and find this inversion. Bend your knees, look towards the top of your mat. On an exhale, make your way to the top of the mat, step or float. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Once again, we're gonna take hand to toe pose. So peace fingers, right hand to right foot, left hand to left hip. Shift the weight to your left leg. As you're ready, start to come up to standing. Very likely feels different now. And then take your path as you like, perhaps extending your right leg out, maybe moving out to the right, and then gazing out beyond your left shoulder. Keeping the grip best you can. Start to rewind your path until your right foot comes all the way down to the mat. Then release your toe. This time, step your left foot all the way back. All toes are still facing in the front direction. Press through your feet, lift your arms up. High crescent lunge. Right hip draws back. And then 3 times, we're going to take open-heartedness. See what you can open here, what can you release. Inhale, prepare. Exhale, cactus arms. Like your elbows might touch behind you. Inhale, lift right back up. Exhale to open. Inhale, lift up. Third time, exhale, open. Inhale, lift up. This time we're going to take Garudasana arms, eagle arms. Wrap left elbow underneath, hands to shoulders, wrapping once or wrapping twice. So you're still here in this high lunge pose. Palms, elbows pressing toward each other. Palms reaching away from your face if you've taken that hand variation. Send your weight forward, hinge forward. And then find a little bit of movement. We're going to move to full Garudasana. So you're going to shift your weight forward, maybe one step or maybe you take a couple. Shift your weight, keep your right knee bent, cross left thigh over right, maybe once or twice. Shoulders over hips, hands away from you, elbows at shoulder height. And then when you're ready, unravel, stand down, reach your arms out and up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Allow your eye gaze to soften, maybe eyes to close. Can you feel your heart beating in towards your thumbs? How does your breath feel different than it did at the beginning of class? Compare it to when you woke up this morning. Likely there's something the same and something different. When you're ready with your eyes opened or closed, inhale, arms lift up. Exhale, forward fold, hands drop. Inhale, halfway lift, offer your heart. Exhale, offer it back to yourself. Step back to the top of a plank pose. On an exhale, lower to or toward your neck, elbows pointed straight up. Untuck toes, inhale for your back bend. Exhale, up and back, downward facing dog. Make sure your fingertips are spread wide. Shifting the weight to your fingers and the base of your index finger especially. Bend your knees, look towards the top of your mat. Exhale, step or hop to the top, forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold. Hand to toe pose, left peace fingers around your left big toe, right hand to right hip. You know where you're going, so feel free to move whenever you're ready. You're going to shift the weight to your right leg, eventually coming up towards standing. And then options, extending left leg out in front of you. Another option, extending your left leg out to the side and then looking out beyond your right shoulder. As you're ready, reverse those steps. Left leg comes back out, keeping the binds, bend both knees. Stand all the way down. When your foot is secure, then you release. Hands to the mat, so you've got security. Step your right foot all the way to the back of the mat. You're in this low lunge. When you're ready, arms lift up, shoulders down, high crescent lunge. 3 times we'll take that heart opener. Inhale, create space, exhale. Palms face forward, elbows like they touch behind you, gaze up. Inhale, lift up. Exhale, open. 3rd time, inhale, return. Exhale, create space. Take it back up toward the ceiling. Garudasana arms, this time right elbow underneath. Hands to shoulders, or wrapping once or twice. Regardless of the option you've taken, your elbows will come up in line with your shoulders as long as that doesn't cause any impingement or pain. All right, find your security and your strength here. And then we're going to shake it up. Lean forward. Give yourself lots of advantage here. You're going to shift your weight forward. Your right foot will come forward. Right thigh will cross over your left. A deep bend to your left knee helps. Tapping once or twice. Press your foot in towards your calf, regardless of where you've gone. Elbows in line with shoulders, palms away. Shoulders over hips. Relax your face. Relax your jaw and your tongue. And then unravel. Stand down. Reach your arms out and up. Exhale, hands to your heart. Allow your eyes to close, or at least soften your eye gaze. And as we did at the beginning of the class, when we shifted a little front and back on our feet, left and right, take that exercise, that drill once again. On an inhale, reach your arms out and up. Garudasana arms once again. On an exhale, you're going to swing your arms down, left elbow on the bottom. Flying Garudasana arms first. All right. We're going to shift the weight to your right foot. So rather than taking hand to toe, we're going to extend left leg behind. So first start with your toes down to the mat. Squaring toward the front of the room, your arms are in Garudasana. Little bend or big bend to your right knee. And then you're going to shift your weight forward. Warrior 3, Garudasana arms. So you're pointing or flexing through your left foot. Lift up through your right thigh. Right leg is straighten up. Palms are still reaching away from you as they press toward each other if you've taken that version. If you've got your hands to your shoulders rather, your elbows are still facing down toward the mat. 3 more breaths. At the end of your 3rd exhale, drop your left foot, unravel, ragdoll pose. When you're ready, inhale, halfway lift, lengthen. Exhale, fold. Press through your feet to reach your arms out and up. And then on an exhale, this time, swing your arms all the way around. Right elbow on the bottom. Wrapping once or twice, hands to shoulders. What is your version of Garudasana arms? And think about all the ways that we've been sharing weight with our legs. Shift the weight to your left leg. First, just point your right foot back. This is also going to help you remind you to pull your left hip back and right hip forward. You've got more stability here. Okay. Bending through your left knee slightly so you can shift your weight. Keep the left hip drawing back, little belly in. Moving toward your Warrior 3, Garudasana arms. Palms working away from your face, elbows still in line with your shoulders. Left thigh reaching up. Find Tadasana through your spine. 3 more breaths. The end of your 3rd exhale, whenever that occurs, place your right foot next to the other, unravel, ragdoll, get a little bit soft. On an inhale, lift halfway up. Exhale, fold. Step back to your downward facing dog or flow through a vinyasa as you would like. Take your knees to mat, toes to touch, hips to heels, child's pose or another restorative posture. We'll be here for 5 breaths. First breath begins now. At the end of your 5th exhale, begin to make your way back to your downward facing dog. Again, if you need to take a couple poses in between, do what you need to do to get to where you need to go. Take a body check. Take a thought check. Take a breath check. See what's going on. And then when you're ready, on a breath in, your right leg comes up towards the ceiling again. Create space so that you can use it. How open-hearted can you get? On an exhale, pull your knee to your right elbow, and then you're going to eventually place your right foot to the outside of your right hand. This might take a couple steps. And we're going to come to lizard pose, as previously advertised. Turn your right toes out slightly. This usually helps for hips. And then inhale, reach your heart forward. Find a little bit of cobra. And then on an exhale, you're going to start to lower down to your block. Just slightly bent elbows. Maybe come down your forearms. If it's working for you, you can take your left knee down as well. What is feeling best for your practice right now? Why did you show up? What is in most alignment with the dedication that you set? Gently drawing your knee toward your shoulder, not a whole lot, but keeping your knee more upright rather than dropping out to the right. Come back up onto your hands if you've come down. If your back knee is down, hop it back up and then tuck your toes. Find a little bit of movement, a little momentum. You're going to step your left foot to the outside of your left hand so that we can move to a Malasana posture. So leaning forward is helpful. Spider fingers, I think, is helpful. Left foot comes to the outside, toes out, heels in. Start to bend your knees, elbows to the insides. You might sit on a block, you might be crouched up, you might come further down. If you find that your heels are rising, you can either place something underneath them so that they have security, or simply come out of the squat. 3 more breaths. At the end of that exhale, hands come down. So you've got some stability, start to straighten your legs. Heel toe your feet back in so they're hips width distance, just about 2 fists. Ragdoll pose, get soft. Then when you're ready, inhale, half lift, lengthen out, press through your feet. Exhale, fold, make your way back to downward facing dog. Maybe that means a vinyasa, or perhaps not. As you're ready, inhale, left leg up and back. Create a lot of space because we're going to use it. On an exhale, pull your knee to your left elbow. I like to lift up on my right toes as well. It helps with the lift. And then place your foot to the outside of your left hand. Toes are slightly pointed out. Right knee up or down based on what you did on the side before. Inhale, find more length. A little bit of cobra through your collarbones. And then on an exhale, take your full expression of this posture, whatever that may be. All right, if you came down to your forearms or onto a block or bent elbows, start to straighten out of that. Again, pop up the back knee if you took a knee down variation. Just go front and back. Find the movement that you need. Your right foot will come to the outside of your right hand, moving toward Malasana Garland pose. Toes out, heels in. Then start to drop your hips, elbows to the sides of your knees, palms toward each other. Find cobra pose through your chest. Send your focus to the breath. How are you integrating your breath in this posture? How do they inform each other? Take your hands down to the mat for stability or onto a block. Start to lift your hips up. Heel toe your feet back in so that they are parallel. Ragdoll pose. A little movement if you'd like, or perhaps stillness is more in alignment with what your dedication is today. If you've taken a class, release your fingertips to the mat. 3 times we'll take a halfway lift. Inhale, Ardha Uttanasana, fingertips press against something. Exhale, chest to thighs, very, very, very strong. Again, inhale, wave your spine long. Exhale, use that space. Final time like that, breath in, lift out. Exhale, fold. Take your hands to your hips, point your elbows up toward the ceiling. Roll your shoulders onto your back. Inhale, come up to standing. Bring your hands to your heart center. If it's not too vulnerable, allow your eyes to close. Can you find balance? Can you find acceptance? Acknowledgement of where you are right now. Making sure that your feet are hips width distance apart. Open your eyes, lift your arms up toward the ceiling, palms face toward each other. Start to sit your hips low in a chair pose. Knees are in the same line as your toes and same line as your hips. Sit lower and lower and lower and lower. And keep letting this slowest elevator in all of history come all the way down until you're all the way on your bum. Scooch back, take your hands to your backs of your thighs. Okay. Hands back to thighs, shrug your shoulder blades back and start to tilt back until you can start to feel your core engage. Start to leg up. And then if you would like, let your toes become light and then shins parallel with the mat. Another option is to bring your arms out alongside your shins. Find the long, slow breath that you created at the beginning of this class as we were reclined. Does a physical position affect your breath? If so, how? Despite this position, can you still find that long, slow, full breath? Can you still find the softness in your face? And then as you're ready, drop your feet to the mat, wrap your hands around your shins, let your back round, soften in. Lift your right back up, extend your legs out in front of you. Move the flesh away from your bum. Move your bum away from your bum, I don't know, you know what I'm saying. Flex your toes towards your face. Sit up tall, your knees might bend. Inhale, lift up. And on an exhale, hinge at your hips. Let your hands drop where they do. You might need to adjust again. Things change. Once again, brick pose. Inhale, halfway lift. Reach your heart forward and exhale, deepen your pose. So you might have hands to thighs, calves, or all the way to your feet. We'll be here for 5 breaths. Keep gently pulling your toes towards your face. First to 5 now. Soften your forehead. At the end of your fifth exhale, inhale, lift up halfway. And then exhale, come all the way up to seated. Bend your knees, place your feet into the mat, hands behind you, fingertips away or toward you. I prefer away. Maybe your anatomy is different than mine. A lot of people's are. Press their feet, press their hands, come to a reverse tabletop. Slide your tailbone towards the backs of your knees, pressing down with your hands. Look straight up toward the ceiling. Remember when you were standing and you found that equality between your feet? Find that here. Engage your core. And then exhale, slowly start to lift, drop your hips rather down toward the mat. And then scooch all the way onto your back. Pull your knees into your chest. Happy baby if you'd like it. Reaching for the insides of your knees for your feet. Very similar to Malasana. So a little rocking from side to side might speak to you. Or straightening one leg and the other, reminiscent of the standing hand to toe poses that we were doing earlier. How are all these things integrated? How do they relate? And then release your feet if you took happy baby. Place your feet back onto the mat. Take your right ankle over your left thigh for a figure four posture. Pull your left thigh in towards you. Flex right toes. Your right knee draws away from you as you draw your left thigh close to you. Release that clasp you've taken. Slide your right thigh over your left like you're sitting in a chair, so your thighs are close up now. Bring your right hips to the right, about 2 inches, so you can drop your knees over to the left. I always want to press my elbows into the mat to lift up my shoulders to keep that twist going through my back. And then I can send my gaze over to the right. If this twist is much too much, simply uncross your legs. If you took the twist all the way through your neck, send your gaze back up toward the ceiling. On an exhale, bring your knees back up, unwinding that twist. Press your feet, reel on your hips, uncross your legs. Yes. And then take your left ankle to your right thigh, flexing through the left foot. Hands behind your thigh or to your shin if that's what you prefer. Draw your thigh toward you. Right foot is soft, left is flexed, the left knee reaches beyond you as your right thigh is gently drawn toward your chest. Release your right thigh so your foot comes down to the mat. Continue the slides of your left thigh over your right. Press through your feet, lift up your hips, pull them over to the left, 2 inches or so you can drop your knees over to the right. Arms out alongside you to facilitate the twist further. If you'd like, gaze up toward the left. If you took the full twist through your neck, through your cervical spine, send your gaze up toward the ceiling. On an exhale, bring your knees upward. Press through the right foot to lift your hips up, realign your hips, uncross your legs. Keeping your knees bent, once again, we're going to take that Supta Baddha Konasana posture, reclined bound angle. So start to walk the soles of your feet toward each other as your knees drop out to the sides. You might feel a-okay, just fine right here. If you don't, you might consider pressing through the outsides of your feet and your palms and your upper back, your shoulder blades press down to lift up your hips, slide your tailbone down, and then release. If you would like, as we did toward the beginning of class, one hand on heart, one hand on thumb. The final posture of this class will be Shavasana. If you would prefer to take it in the current pose you're in Supta Baddha Konasana, then please stay where you are. If you plan on transitioning to a more traditional corpse pose, then slowly begin your movements rewinding out of the pose. Make the final adjustments that you need to your clothing, to your physical body. And then start to make the changes toward the pose by drawing less, softer muscles, heavier. Perhaps this provides a floating sensation. As grippiness to your thoughts. Give yourself permission to simply be. Allow your breath to deepen. Once again, recognizing boundaries of your body, what is inside, what is outside, and what seems to exist to both. Start to invite some movement into your body. When you're ready, roll over onto your right side. Pausing for several moments. And with your eyes closed, best you can, make your way to a seated posture of your choice. On an inhale, bring your arms out and up, palms press above your head. And on an exhale, take your thumbs to the space between your eyebrows for clarity of thought, to your lips for clarity of speech, and then take your hands to your heart for clarity of action, bow your head to your heart. Acknowledge your own spaciousness and openness, that of the yogis in this community and everyone beyond. Thank you so much for sharing your practice with me and helping me deepen my own. In the name of the highest good, namaste. All right. All are unmuted. Thank you guys.